Lavrov says extremists prevail among the ranks of the Syrian opposition and obstruct any initiatives that may lead to dialogue. In retaliation to the martyrdom of prisoner Jaradat, the Palestinian resistance shells occupied Asqalan. A new round of negotiations is held between Tehran and the 5+1 countries in Kazakhstan on Iran's peaceful nuclear file. Good afternoon, this is Irado Krikorian with the news in English. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said extremists have controlled Syrian opposition and obstructed any initiatives that would lead to dialogue. During a press conference with his Dutch counterpart Frans Timmermans in Moscow, Lavrov said the conditions have become clearer for the sides to sit at the negotiating table. Voices have emerged in favor of such dialogue without prerequisite conditions, Lavrov said. However, he added, these voices were later silenced. Lavrov pointed out that extremists have prevailed in the ranks of the opposition and they are in favor of a military solution to the crisis in Syria, thus obstructing any initiatives that may lead to dialogue. Lavrov pointed out that the crisis in Syria is for the Syrians themselves to solve, and Russia will not give up and will continue its contacts with other countries that may influence one way or the other the Syrian parties in order to reach a solution to the crisis. He referred to increasing concerns as a result of the continuation of the current situation. The Russian Foreign Ministry has declared that Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will discuss a number of common topics and key international issues with his American counterpart John Kerry in the German capital Berlin today. Lavrov had yesterday said he intended to raise with Kerry the question of the U.S. violation of international law. Addressing the diplomatic academy, Lavrov said if countries want their action to be accepted by others, the only way would be to build such action within the framework of the international law provisions. We will certainly talk during the imminent meeting in Berlin about specific examples, including the stand towards the Syrian crisis, Lavrov asserted. Moscow has expressed regret that some Syrian opposition representatives have refused the possibility of settling the crisis in Syria. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman Alexander Lukashevich pointed out that the talks between the Russian and Syrian foreign ministers focused on the search for a political solution in Syria through dialogue between the government and the opposition. Our army units today continued their pursuit of armed terrorist groups in Daraya and Nabek, killing and wounding a large number of them and destroying their weapons, vehicles and terrorist equipment. An official source told Sana's correspondent that a vehicle loaded with weapons and ammunition was destroyed near the train station in Daraya. The source added that a number of terrorist snipers were killed south of Shredder Square in the city. An army unit, the source pointed out, also clashed with the terrorist group in the surroundings of Al-Sayyida Sakina Shrine, killing and injuring all the members of the group, including their leader, nicknamed the Nourain. Our army units also clashed a terrorist group that was attacking citizens and their properties in the eastern farms of Nabek, killing some of them. The army, moreover, killed and wounded several terrorists who were driving a number of cars in Nabek last Sunday. They destroyed 3 tanks that the terrorists used in order to smuggle fuel and oil derivatives outside the borders. In cooperation with the inhabitants, our armed forces continue to clear several areas in the ancient part of Aleppo and its markets from the armed terrorist groups. They completely cleared Az-Zahrawi neighborhood, As-Suwai'a main market, the historical Haj Musa Inn and Al-Jarabat Souq. The following images show the bulk of devastation that affected the buildings and shops destroyed by the terrorists. In Hom's suburbs, the army has carried out several operations during which it destroyed terrorist gatherings and hideouts, eliminating a number of armed men and wounding others. The army also destroyed several vehicles used by terrorists in eastern Buwaida, Aqrab, Taldo, Assan and Talbise. In occupied Palestine, for the first time after the recent Israeli aggression on Gaza and in retaliation to the martyrdom of the Palestinian prisoner Arafat Jaradat, the Palestinian resistance fired a Grad rocket on Asqalan. Israeli occupation police acknowledged that the rocket slammed into a road and exploded near Asqalan, south of occupied Palestine, inflicting material damage. The Israeli forces of occupation started an inspection operation in the area, searching for another rocket shell, which sound had been heard. The rocket was fired from Gaza Strip after confrontations between the Israeli forces of occupation and the Palestinians in the occupied West Bank following the martyrdom of prisoner Jaradat. Clashes erupted in Cairo's Tahrir Square today between protesters and the Egyptian security forces, who arrested dozens of protesters and removed the blockades erected by anti-Morsi demonstrators. Meanwhile, Egyptian leftist opposition party, the Popular Current, said today it will boycott parliamentary elections due to start in April, as well as national dialogue talks proposed by Morsi in protest against the election law. It also rejected the continuation of Morsi's oppressive policies. Yesterday, 2 children were killed in Al-Mansoura by a gas bomb fired by police towards a clinic opposite at Tahrir Square during clashes between protesters and security forces, which left dozens of others injured. In the Kazakh capital Almaty, a new round of talks started between Iran and the 6 countries on Tehran's nuclear program. Spokesman for European Union's Foreign Affairs, Michael Mann, said that during the round of talks, which followed 4 others, Western countries are expected to offer a new proposal for Tehran. Iran's chief negotiator, Saeed Jalili, had asserted a few days ago that 6 countries should enter this round of talks with Tehran using a new strategy away from the previous mistakes. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more news about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Nariman Qassam after a short break.